I just built this awesome faceless video generator. This system is designed to generate faceless videos. These POV style videos have been blowing up on TikTok right now, getting millions of views. You can see this account right here only has like 20 videos. They already have like 400,000 followers. So I built this system to do a little spin on that using AI agents. And if you look right now, AI agents have been blowing up. This trend is super popular. So now is the time to learn. Likewise, if you look at the interest in faceless videos, this is peaking over time. Today, we're going to be using tools like n8n to build this all. And if you look, n8n has just been gaining popularity a lot. So this skill is really worthwhile for you to learn. I'm going to walk you through exactly what the system does, how to create the videos, and how to publish them to your social media channels. The biggest problem that I found with a lot of the faceless video generators out there is that they require you personally to do some manual input up front. And I wanted to try to build a system that gives you flexibility in order to input kind of like historical figures or characters or whatever you wanted, but also something that can run completely automated without you needing to go into ChatGPT or needing to go into Claude to like generate like a list of people or a list of ideas or topics, like something that's just going to automatically do that all for you. So a lot of these faceless video generators that are out there, they have you building these databases to create your topics, but this system is designed to just do that automatically for you. So we are still going to be storing everything inside a database. It looks like this. It has the subject, the idea, the caption, the environments, then a place where you can view and download your videos, as well as the status and all this other stuff, so that you can access your videos on Google Drive. And so at the end of the day, we'll have some videos that end up kind of looking like this. So anyway, these are really fun. I also did a second take on this where I actually wanted to see if I could do this with some Pokemon. So I wanted to see what would happen if I tried to create Pokemon in these different environments. And so I'll show you how I did this as well at the end of the video. And so again, this will just generate a random Pokemon for you every single day. And you can kind of put it in different, different settings and different situations for you. So I just thought this is kind of like a fun spin on these historical videos. And I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can download the files for this. So this should be super easy for you to import. You can just come up to import a file, go to your file, click on the JSON, and give it a second to load. And this entire system will pop in. So you can just get started building this right away and creating these faceless videos. So let me walk you through exactly step by step what everything does here. And I'm just going to kind of show you how we built this thing to generate these historical videos. This top section is designed to let you have manual control over what you're inputting. Like if you're talking to a friend or you're browsing Wikipedia and something is really interesting to you, you do have the option to input something manually. So basically the way this works is I'm just going to test this workflow here and say we're browsing Wikipedia and we have this Battle of Marathon here, took place in 490 BC, et cetera, et cetera. You can just come into Telegram and you can kind of like paste in everything from Wikipedia. And if we come back here, you can see this ran all the way through. It grabbed our Telegram message, and basically what it did is it just kind of pulled out the subject, which is Darius I, and it gave us an idea for the video. So Darius I avenging the Athenians during the Battle of Marathon. So this is kind of the topic that sets off the whole flow for the entire video. So this gives you total control if you do want to have manual input. This is really all up to you. On the other hand, like I said, this system is designed to run without you having to do anything. And so basically this just runs on a schedule. You can set this to run once a day, 5 times a day, every hour, however often you want. And so basically what happens is if you run this, it's going to generate a totally new character for you every time. And this is the part that allows you to make this totally automated without you having to do anything. So I'm just going to click test workflow here, and then I'm going to walk you through everything that's going on. So the first thing that's happening here is Airtable is searching all of the records in our database and it's pulling in all of the subjects in this kind of first subject field here. So the reason it's doing this is what's going to allow us to create content every single day or ever often we want without having any duplicates. So after that, this is going through an aggregate field. And basically this node is just kind of collecting everything into one place. And you can see this is just listing out every single one of those kind of subjects that we've already created. From there, we're now generating the subject and the idea. And so basically we have this AI agent that's here, and it's a really simple prompt that we put in. And this just says, you are a helpful, intelligent research assistant. And this says the subject cannot be, I should really say cannot be, any of the following. And then I literally just pipe in this list from the aggregate field. And so you can see here that this is outputting all of the subjects that our Airtable search records found. And so this is just saying like, okay, like you can't recreate any of these subjects, come up with someone new, right? Because these LLMs have a tendency to kind of follow the same patterns. And so if we didn't include this, there's a high likelihood that we'd actually just get like Cleopatra day after day after day after day. So as we add more people to the database, this list is going to get longer and longer. And this is just kind of dynamically linked, so this will always be up to date. And this just says output your data in the following JSON format: subject, the name of the historical figure, idea, the exciting milestone or event. And here we're just using an output parser to make sure that we actually output in the format that we specified. From here, we're just kind of storing the data just so that we can map it properly. And so we're just taking the subject and the idea, and we're just kind of storing that here. And we're doing it this way so that basically we can kind of match the fields from Telegram to the fields that are just kind of generated daily, so that we have kind of like the same input every time, so that we're not going to run into any errors. After this, I'm actually just using this to generate a success message. And the reason I'm doing this is just so that we can get like a cute little notification in Telegram that says like, hey, like your Faceless video is done, like go check it out. And so I just said write a success message that briefly summarizes what was accomplished. Super basic. The prompt we put in here just says we created a Faceless video about the subject on the topic of the idea. And so you can see here that says about Cleopatra on the topic of Cleopatra meeting Julius Caesar in Alexandria, an impressive spectacle of power and intrigue. Again, so here's the example output that I gave it just to kind of check out what the output was. So this is the output that this did. Success, Faceless video about Cleopatra's captivating meeting with Julius Caesar in Alexandria, showcasing a spectacular blend of power and intrigue. And so once this system runs, it gets all the way to the end. We'll just get a little notification in Telegram that we have a new video. You can see right here, this is already working in the background to generate our images and turn those into videos. So after the success message is generated, then we need to generate the topic info. And so we need a couple of things. We need like captions for the video, and we need the environment prompt and the scenario. And so basically we're creating all this stuff so that we can take this information about the topic, send this to another, LLM module so that it can take this information and actually turn it into a prompt for image generation. So here it says generate a viral historical figure video idea based off of the subject. You can see here Cleopatra, and again, the idea. So now we have the idea in here. Then it just says your output is always in a table format. You are an AI designed to generate viral historical figure videos idea in a structural table format. Your output should always follow this structure. Then I give it the name of the columns, the historical figure, the scenario, the caption, the environment, and then some guidelines here and a couple of examples just so it kind of knows how we expect the output. You can see here we have the subject, the scenario, and then this is the caption that's actually going to get added on top of our video. POV, witnessing Cleopatra's grand entrance to meet Caesar. And then the environment, which will stay the same across everything. Royal barge parade, bustling Alexandria, 48 BCE. So now we can kind of understand that we're going to take this information and we're going to send this over to another OpenAI module here. And what this is going to do is this is actually going to generate the image prompt for us. So like if you're using Midjourney, in our case, we're using Flux. But if you're using Midjourney or if you're using anything else, and I actually anticipate in a couple of weeks, I'll be using ChatGPT to do all of this with the new image model that just came out. So I'm really excited about that and kind of switching this around a little bit. I think it'll actually be a lot more streamlined. So here you can see we basically output 5 different prompts here that are going to go and create 5 different images. So if we go in here, this just says you're an advanced prompt generation AI specializing in creating detailed, hyper-realistic image prompts for models like Flux and Midjourney. Transform brief inputs into rich cinematic scenes that viewers observe. So this is the historical figure, and we just put in Cleopatra here. This is the overall idea. This is the short prompt idea, seeing Cleopatra enter the throne room confidently. And then every prompt must include this environment description. We just piped in the environment description. So we gave it kind of like what to start the prompts with, some guidelines for concisely describing the scene with foreground and background, and then a few more guidelines and some examples. And so again, in order to set this up, basically you're just going to kind of come in here and drag and drop everything from the previous nodes that generate topic info into here. So on the output side, what this is doing is you can see we've created 5 different image prompts. So Cleopatra meeting Julius Caesar in Alexandria. In the foreground, Cleopatra strides confidently into the grand throne room, adorned in flowing royal garments and an ornate jeweled headdress. In the background, opulent decorations and attentive courtiers watch as a vibrant royal barge parade sails by, capturing the bustling energy of Alexandria 48 BCE. So now we have 5 more prompts, and what these are doing is these are all getting sent off. I like to use GOAPI. Let me just open this up here, which I think is a really great tool. You can do image and video generation here. You can even do audio models and things like that. And so I'm just basically using the Flux image generation here in order to generate our images for us. And so in order to set this up, basically, you just kind of come into here. This is an HTTP request. This is using the post method, and GoAPI actually has a lot of documentation on how to do this. So you can find the documentation on how to set these up. So if you want to view all the API docs, you can see here, you can come into the left-hand side here and just go into Flux and basically want to create a task, and we're doing text to image. And so here's the post request, and you can see that this is the post request here. And then here's the little example on the side. Basically the model we're using, the text, and then the prompt, and then the kind of the size of the image. And so if we come back in here, you can see we have that same URL here. This is where we put in our API key. And then if we come into the actual prompt here, which is the body copy of this JSON, you can see it just matches that example. The model, the task type, I literally just copied and pasted from this example here into n8n. And so the only thing we're doing is we're just dragging the content from this OpenAI node, and we're just adding it into the prompt field here. And so that way it's just taking the prompt that ChatGPT generates for us, and it's actually just inserting this into the image generation model. And it's just going to run through that all 5 times for every single prompt that we have. So from there, I just added this wait 7 minutes timer. If you want to add this, you can literally just come into plus and type in wait, and here's a little wait node. And so basically what this is doing is you would just come in here and you can change this to seconds or minutes. I changed it to minutes, and I just waited 7 minutes. It's probably a little bit longer than you need to generate the images, but since this is such a long and kind of involved process, like I found it better just to give it extra time, like especially if this is just running, automatically in the background, like you're not actively paying attention. It doesn't really matter how long it takes. It's way better to wait the 7 minutes and have the thing finish completely, as opposed to, getting an error message that you have to come in here and troubleshoot. So this is waiting 7 minutes for the images to be generated. And then here we're just using this get image node. It's basically the same as the other Flux GoAPI request. We've just added the task ID to the end of the URL. If you come down here all the way to the text to image generator, you just grab this task ID and you just add this to the end of the URL here. Make sure your field is set to expression. Otherwise it won't map properly. And you don't actually need anything in the body. You just basically need get this task and your API key in there. So now what this is doing is it's taking every single one of those images, and I'm using this with the Luma Labs API to send this over to Luma Labs in order to turn those images into videos. I love Dream Machine by Luma Labs. I think their video generation is really great. A lot of people use Kling. You can set this up however you want. So we're doing the same thing here. We're sending this to the Luma Labs API, putting in our API key here. And then again, we're just sending the prompt over, which is basically the same prompt that we used before. Cleopatra meeting Julius Caesar in Alexandria, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the model and the image type. And then the URL here, as we just need to grab the URL that's coming from the module before. And so if you come down here and you can see in this get image module, if you scroll all the way down in the output here, this is the image URL. And so basically we're just piping that in here. So actually Luma Labs and Dream Machine know what image that they're turning into video. So after that's done, we're just waiting 15 minutes. Again, this might be a little bit overkill. You might only need 10. I recommend at least 10 just to make sure that this process kind of sees itself all the way through. And so it's turning all 5 of those images into videos. And then from there, we're just downloading the videos. Once this is done, it's actually pretty cool because we're also using 11 Labs to generate sound effects for this video. 11 Labs now doesn't just do voices, it actually does sound effects. And so this is pretty cool. So we're actually just making an HTTP request to 11 Labs. If you come in here, you could say api.11labs.io/v1/sound generation. They have lots of documentation on the 11 Labs site. You can go through that. You can just come into your account down here to your API keys and create a new API key. Plug that in here. And then from here, what we're doing is basically just saying ambient musical background sounds for, and then it's just pulling in the titles from the previous videos. And since this hasn't run yet, we don't actually have those. But once this is run, it'll populate. And it just says duration is 5 seconds. The prompt influence is 0.75. And so each one of the videos that's coming out is going to be 5 seconds. And so you just want to make sure that the audio matches. And so for every single video, for all 5 of the clips, we're also going to have an accompanying audio that goes with it. From there, we're actually just uploading the audio file to Google Drive, and we're updating the access just so that it's kind of like shared publicly. We're basically just changing the writer to anyone to make sure that we can grab this. From here, we're merging everything together. And so this is where we're actually putting the video together. We're grabbing the text, the captions, we're grabbing the video files, and we're grabbing the audio files. And we're merging this all together inside of a platform that's called Creatomate. So I will leave a link in the description to where you can sign up for Creatomate. And basically, this is all run kind of totally seamlessly in the background. It takes all of these videos, and I'll also leave this code here where you can just grab the code. I'll leave it alongside the workflows, which you can download. We're basically listing out all of the different elements, the response text, the videos, and the links to all the videos. And from there, we're just sending this over to our Creatomate template to actually render out the video. So you can see here that this is the template ID. So this is basically the ID that's specific to this template that we've built. And you can go in and you can change the text. You can make it different colors. You can make it smaller. You can move it around. You can kind of like adjust this however you want. And then from there, it's just grabbing all the different audio sources that are coming from 11 Labs. It's grabbing the video sources that are coming from Luma Labs, the generator, and then it's grabbing the text that's actually just coming from the nodes earlier on in the sequence where we're generating the topic info. Basically, once this is all done, we're going to send this over to Creatomate to kind of stitch all the videos together. And then we're just going to wait another minute to make sure it has time to process everything and properly export that. And then we're just going to make an HTTP request again to just simply get the video file from that URL. And then from there, I'm just uploading the MP4 that's going to come from 11 Labs to Google Drive, update the access to that file, and then update the record inside of Airtable so that we have everything all in one place. So now we have, the idea, the caption, the environment, and now we have a place to actually view and download the video. And then we have this video status, video created, and things like that as well. So once everything is done running, basically you can just upload this. You can set these to run on a schedule too. Just to kind of post these to your social media platforms. And there's basically two ways to do this. One way that I really like is I've been using Blotato a lot, which is by the wonderful Sabrina Romanov. If you don't know her, she's one of the top AI creators in the space right now. She has over 600,000 followers on TikTok. She's grown her account really quickly, but she created this platform, Blotato, to not only create faceless videos, but to also allow you to connect to your social platforms. And so there's a really simple way to kind of connect through there if you're interested in doing that. The other option is you can simply just set this on a normal schedule to basically run, search Airtable for any sort of record for the status is video created. So this is just kind of like once the videos have been finished, this will only return like one single output, just so that it kind of runs one at a time. And then from there, we're just going to download the file from the Google Drive link. And then you can just kind of add whatever social media platforms you want on the end here. Like you could add YouTube to the end. You could go to upload a video here. And basically you can just pipe in, you can type in the title of the video if you want. You could grab this from the Airtable, and you can just kind of set this up to your credentials and you're good to go. Great. So this video just finished. And if we come over into our Airtable database, we basically have everything here that we need. We have a link to view the video, to download the video, and we can check this out. Let's see what we came up with. And the last thing I'll show you is how you could adapt this for literally any topic that you want. I gave Pokemon as the example, but you could literally make this for anything. So all that you have to do is basically come into the topics and the titles and kind of the prompt generation, and you just want to rework these to talk about the thing that you want to talk about. In this case, it's Pokemon, right? Generate a viral Pokemon in real life video idea. Your output is always in a table format. So these are just basically using the templates from the historical figure video, but making this for Pokemon in this case. And so here's the example output with the Pokemon, the scenario, the caption, and the environment. And so the format stays the same, but kind of like the content of it changes. And it's the same thing here for the titles. So if you come in here, you can see we just adapted this a little bit. Your task is to generate 5 distinct prompts depicting Pokemon existing in our real world from a first-person perspective. Then here are the guidelines. And then the examples, instead of having historical figures, I just did Pikachu is thirsty for coffee, Squirtle struggling with his umbrella in the rain. Right. And so these are just kind of like funny little things that we can do just to kind of change this from being about historical figures to, in this case, being about Pokemon. But again, you can make this whatever you want. And then you can go ahead and adjust this prompt here, which is, how ChatGPT is actually going to prompt the image generations. And so you can adjust this to be whatever you want that makes sense for you. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and definitely check out this video, which teaches you how to use n8n to automate your entire social media. I'll see you over there.